All right. I don't know if y'all can see that. If you can't, I don't know what to tell you. All right, so we're gonna get started momentarily. Shout out to Prince David yet again. So we're gonna start, right? I'm gonna play this clip real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put some song on. You know how I like to get down, cause that's how I get down. All right, so here I go. Let me put this down real quick. Gotta take these headphones. Tonight's message is definitely encoded, if you want to call it that, but it's not for everybody. That's what I'm saying for sure. Like, it's not for everybody. Because it's just not, you know what I'm saying? This is definitely not for everybody.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics.
Joe shows
make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
And I just want to point something out. Pink women don't do that to their men. As much as they be violated by their dad, be having all type of absentee dads, the fact that studies, because y'all love to quote fake statistics, let's quote the real ones. The fact that studies have shown year after year that Black men are the most present dad, and yet Black women are the ones who seem to be so traumatized to where now they hate all Black men. But all the disgusting, wretched things that pink women have experienced from their fathers does not make them hate their race of man as a whole. It make them hate their daddy, but it does not make them hate their race as a whole. It just proves that y'all were pre-programmed to hate Black people anyway.
Hello there. How are you? Y'all all right? Oh, so this man, he must have been victory.
Oh shoot, that! I don't know if it did it, but anyway.
So I had a dream, okay, and y'all know I dream very vividly, and my dreams come to pass, and they show me things. This particular dream, I had a dream that I made vegan deviled eggs.
No offense, but that was just funny. But I want to play this again.
This country is doomed.
This is the video that's playing.
It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics.
Joe shows
make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Really? In sports? Last I checked, a bunch of middle school boys defeated Megan Rapinoe in soccer, a sport that many people say she dominates. But that's only when she's against a bunch of girls, I suppose. What exactly did we do to be better than men? Are you aware of how you got here? Are you aware of who invented the iPhone that you're recording this incredibly sexist TikTok on? You see, that's not the girl power move everybody thinks it is. Women are better than men. Why? Breeding competition where it's simply not necessary demonstrates incredible immaturity. Now, as a woman, I'm embarrassed. Look me in the eyes with a straight face and tell me why you would not tear apart a man if he said
That's this video
Oh,
that's
wait.
playing.
It's all fun and games until somebody reverses it. Then he has to be canceled. But guess what? You must likely gain thousands of followers from this post because women right now garner a very unfair advantage in our society. And whether you'd like to admit it or not, it's there. Not in all cases, but definitely in this case. Please do us all a favor and keep your hatred of men to yourself.
This country is doomed.
All right, so I'm playing that like that. Because it supports what the message is. And first, Abba Yahuwah, please guard us, guard our hearts and our thoughts, and on this channel and everything that has to do with us according to your will. The kingdom come, that will be done, and keep us safeguarded and protected. Okay. Now this one right here, we're gonna get into this. Okay, I'm gonna let this play. This specific video. I'm gonna let a couple videos play. Just the audio, but I'm putting up on the screen the actual video and stuff like that, where y'all can go and you can look up the specific videos, just so you know what I'm saying, you have it, so you're aware of it, or you're knowledgeable of the links and stuff like that. Because as I said before, you know, it's a good thing to have, you know, the sources and links to certain things when it comes to certain things and certain things, you know, long story short. But I'm gonna play the audio while I'm continuing to put some stuff together.
Against the HOA as far as filing a lawsuit?
We building.
Black South Carolina homeowner cutting her grass was threatened by her white neighbor and his son, who shouted racial slurs and yelled that he would murder her. I'm not making this up, folks. You'll only see.
Now, I do want to make this abundantly clear and over abundantly clear. I'm not saying I'm against all white people. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm producing or projecting out here. None of that. I'm against wickedness and everything of its character that it is. All right. I am totally opposed to our homes being broken, destroyed, terrorized, our communities overtaken, and how you say it, colonized. It's tyranny. Okay, these people are tyrants. And Roland S. Martin, there's some interesting things that come on there, but I don't like go to it as an absolute source, because I know it's part of the, you know, hype propaganda, targeted individuals, you know, subliminal messaging crap of Hollywood and so on and so forth, and the whole, you know, agendas that's out here. But I'm doing this because I'm building, and those who is for to know and to receive what the truth is, you'll know, and you'll receive what the truth is. Long story short. You know, because I'm definitely sick and tired of people being out there that have the ability to help people, but they like legitimately won't or refuse to, or it's all about them and their thoughts and will be done.
See the story on Roland Martin unfiltered, and luckily for Shirley Ann Montgomery, it was caught on video, and we have that video. Take a look.
try to do this again real quick.
You listen to me. Don't talk to me if you cannot talk to me right. To leave me alone. Period, sir. I have pictures. I don't care what you got. I don't care. I don't care what you got. Okay? I don't care what you got. Go file your police report. Go do whatever you need to do. But I tell you what, you better cut the tree from the yard then, okay? Yeah, it is. It's leaning over. You cut my eye, okay? You don't shut the fuck up. You got it, yes. Now I will murder you. Okay? I got you on camera saying. You got to give a shit. Okay? Stay the fuck out of my brain. Okay? Hey, you know what? Stupid ass motherfucker. You know what? I'm not going to even deal with y'all. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not going to deal with you or your demons. Do it, son. I'm not going to deal with you or your demons. You hate because you can't even afford for yourself. Get out my yard, sir. Get away from me, please. I'm asking you to get away from me. I'm asking you not to talk to me. I don't have anything to cut the trees away from the yard. How about that? Okay, so ma'am, I am being harassed by my neighbor. I've been threatened by my neighbor. I have it on camera. I'm cutting my yard out here in Lake Carolina. I'm not going to be harassed by this white man, by anybody else. I'm minding my business. I'm not going to be bothered. I'm not going to be harassed. I need a police report because I want to put a restraining order, and I'm done with this neighbor, and he's crazy. I really am. The address. Yes, ma'am, it is. It'll come up to a business, but I live in the back. It's in Lake Carolina. And like I say, and I have it on camera, but a man told me he would murder me. I take my life serious. I really do. Really do. And now you call the sheriff's department, I really do.
Shirley Ann Montgomery is joining me from Los Angeles for this Roland Martin Unfiltered exclusive. I have so many comments on this. First and foremost, thank you so much for joining us, and I am so sorry you had to go through this.
Yeah, me too.
So the first point I wanted to bring up was one.
Excuse me. I want to say this. There is an agenda here. Okay. And anyone who is knowledgeable about or of things that are going on, well, I'll make it more abundantly clear during this video. But it's a planned agenda. A planned genocide is what I call it. In all this, but yeah.
You're outside cutting the grass. You may have went in a little bit onto his property potentially. Who complains about that? I mean, seriously, who complains about someone stepping on their grass? I mean, that's the first thing. And then for it to escalate to the point where your neighbor's son threatened to murder you, called you racial slurs. I heard monkey being thrown out during that tirade. And so I'm just trying to find out, is this the first time this kind of incident has happened? And then tell me a little bit about how it got to the point where we saw the video where the son was coming out and threatening you.
Well, this is the first time that particular incident happened and got to that point. I've had amicable relations as far as communicating with the neighbor. Hi, how are you? Times where he was upset with the HOA and he wanted to press charges against the HOA as far as filing a lawsuit and what have you. However, we have said hi off and on, and then the neighbor began to stop talking. So I stopped talking and I said that this neighbor was not very sane to me in his mindset, off and on communication. So I just eliminated all communications. So I was caught off guard by his behavior, actually.
And so you said that wasn't the first incident or instance of you guys kind of, I guess, so to speak, butting heads. So when was the point where it got to this point where threats were being made, and that's when you made the police report?
So the only time I don't know if we really butt heads, he was a little bit upset because one of my neighbors, well, actually a tenant, drove on the grass, which I agreed with him. That should have not occurred. I thought, everything was good to go. That was months prior. I've never interacted with his son. So all of this was very fresh and very new to me. I became very, I guess, aggravated by his actions because he was banging on his kitchen window at me. When his guy cuts his grass, they go over in my yard. As you can see, the property line is very hard to define. It's kind of defined based on the different colors of the building. So if you could take that and try to walk your way out onto the grass, you can see it's very blurred. Never ever have had any issues of such with any of the other neighbors, actually. So I was caught off guard by his behavior. I've never talked to his son whatsoever.
What was going through your mind that day? And I believe it was on August 6th. What was going through your mind? You're outside, you're cutting your grass, you're just trying to make sure your lawn looks great. And then he comes out and starts making these statements. Kind of walk us through that and what you were thinking and what you were feeling at that moment.
So when I was outside initially cutting my grass, I was in a very good space, actually. I was listening to Kirk Franklin praise. I was singing. I was really thanking the Lord just for my ability. His son actually came outside and sat at the table with his shades on, and he lit a cigar, which he could do that. I don't care. I was pulling weeds at the time, and I was determined that I was not going to lose my focus whatsoever. And then I guess after I didn't say anything to the son or pay attention to him, he went back on the inside. And that's when the knocking on the kitchen window started. And my thing was like, what do you want? Leave me alone. Leave me alone, literally. So in my mind, I felt as if I was basically being harassed. And I did not expect for him to come outside. I expected for him to stop knocking. This camera has been on my properties for quite some time. So it's not like he didn't know he was being videoed. Actually, I used to have the ring say, you are now being recorded. That was an issue for him. So being a neighbor, wanting to keep things in good space, I actually turned that part of the camera off, but I've always kept my cameras on. I've never had any issues with any other neighbor. This particular neighbor, in my opinion, my mindset was, okay, you told me before your family came from Germany. You told me before you lived in your mother's home. You asked about taxes. There were certain things he wanted to know that I was not willing to share with him. So his mindset, even in saying, which a lot of people throw that weight out there, he knew the sheriff, which I really didn't care, but it was kind of like a white privilege thing to me. He had an issue because I had a nice sidewalk, which the previous owners had done. He had an issue because I have a garage with an apartment on top where you see those stairs. And that's where the camera is actually coming from, which is on my property. So I'm not sure where all this came from. It definitely aggravated my anxiety. I'm a former veteran. Served in the Army. My son was assaulted by the police, so not first encounterment as far as hostility or issues based on race, and I do say it was racial. I actually went to the Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute, Daomi in Florida, so I understand what the system says, white privileges, or how different people think. And I'm not saying that all people are bad people, but in this particular case, this neighbor has an issue. And I became afraid, just gonna be honest, in real talk. I am a concealed weapon carrier. I've never really carried my weapon on me, but now I kind of do, wanting to make myself comfortable with carrying it. When I get back to South Carolina, I'm actually talking with my counselor, possibly of getting a dog that I can have with me one as protection, but then two to also help calm some of my anxiety. Because I don't know, I mean, you can see where we live, right next door to each other. You can see this guy, he burst out and started yelling at me and calling me out of my name. I don't really know what his mindset is and what he will or will not do.
Well, I can absolutely understand the fear of that because, again, you're just cutting your grass and you have someone running at you talking about they're going to murder you.
Yeah. And then he turned around and he said to me that he didn't, excuse the expression, give a shit. And so, bam, shit. Silence, hidden, and trauma. I guess he got a whole lot of trauma going on. He didn't care. And after I got the police report, I learned that the officer, as far as I was concerned, was very biased. And he also was in the defense of the neighbor and his son based on me not responding intimidated by this particular neighbor and what he said.
Now we have the police report right here, and there's actually a line from the police report that I would like to read for our viewers. We don't want to show it to protect our interviewees' privacy. But basically in the police report, it states that, quote, due to the lack of ability on the part of the subject to carry out his threat, no further action was taken. So this individual can come outside, threaten to murder you, call you racial slurs, and because he didn't act upon it, we're not going to take any further action. How did you feel about that when you filed this report and the police were like, yeah, we're not going to do anything because he didn't do anything to you?
So when the officer showed up, he told me that he had to talk to the neighbor as well, which I understood that. I understood protocol. Then another officer approached and began to talk to him. That officer did not talk to me. That officer did not say to me, hey, calm down, it's okay, it's a misunderstanding or any of that. So when I went to pick up a police report that following Monday, because I'm real serious about a restraining order, I don't know who they are. I don't know the mindset. I was caught off guard. And I saw the way he wrote that report, I was livid. I literally burst in tears. I literally felt that even though this guy threw things out there, that what he said, there may be some truth to that as far as who he knew. The other officer, he did not talk to me whatsoever. And I've got some concerns. I really, really do. I'm walking truthfully in faith because I have a lot of faith. But I know that God is not causing us to be stupid either. I know for a fact that I'm protected because I truly believe that I'm protected, because had not there been interference by his father, I really believe that that guy would have come and caused me some harm. And I shared that also with the police. And I spoke with a captain or whoever after the fact, and they're like, oh, yeah, we understand. Just keep your cameras, blah, blah, blah. But I have concerns.
Well, thankfully you had that camera footage, because we also have the footage of the neighbor saying that it's illegal for you to record him.
Yeah.
But then you have the police saying, no, keep recording him. So you have conflicting things going on. Had you not had that video, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So thankfully you have that as evidence.
Yeah, probably not. And again, the officers, because I was actually at the magistrate office when this guy went and stood in front of the property line and started talking to my camera. And I immediately asked officers if what I was doing was illegal. And they told me absolutely not. All he was trying to do was to intimidate me. And he's not going to intimidate me. I'm not moving.
Let's bring in our panelists, because I'm sure they have plenty of questions to ask. Let's start off with Terrain. Do you have any questions for Miss Shirley Ann?
I have one. I got something to say. First of all, the way that they're, to me anyway, what I'm picking up on, I could be completely, absolutely wrong about it though. But what I'm picking up on is, like, even the way that they say her name. First thing that came to my mind the first time I seen this video months ago was the slave mentality, or as a slave, Miss Shirley Ann, and all that type stuff. Secondly, clearly, this woman is not knowledgeable of so much. As a melanated, brown-skinned, and or black woman, all right, offer it. The fact that she said that she understands their laws, whatever. Why would you understand that? That's a problem. They don't understand. You don't understand tyranny and blatant, wicked mindsets. That's a problem. And that's why we went into, where is it at? This right here. As they have an old saying, those who do not know their history are destined to relive it. For anyone who's familiar with the terminology, the Great Reset, that's what they're doing yet again. All right. Now, how do you know that? Well, because of this. Pope Francis to visit 2 fragile African nations. So they say. Pope Francis to visit DR, or the Dominican Republican, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, South Sudan, on his 5th visit to Africa. Latest world news 2 weeks ago. This is a problem. South Africa, Pope John Paul, the first visit arrival, that was 7 years ago. Okay, this right here, for people who don't know about the Great Reset, was a inquisition. In other words, a rewriting of history. Okay, this is where the Bibles come into play. All the different versions of them, and over time as they were created. And if you want to know more on that, again, you can go look up the reading Codex Magica. All right. Now, the intriguing part and the very revealing part of this, of South Sudan and the Congo, well, when you look up trade routes and all that type of stuff, and Negro land, the Gold Coasts, and all that type of stuff, and things such as this right here. Oh, shoot. Okay, we're not trying to do that with that page. Okay, this right here, that picture is going to be hard to see, but the message of long story short, what I'm saying is colonialism. Okay, the slave trades, Arabian slave trade, or Arabian, Phoenician, Romanian, Romancia, Roman, Greco-Roman, and the Spanish or Portuguese. Okay, now Ottomans and all that type of stuff. Islam has enslaved our people before, diversely, and I'm saying our people because I have I have seen the evidences did my own research and still doing things of that nature, so to speak, for lack of better words, at the moment, where I have ancestors from both here in the Americas, or Turtle Island, as some, and in South and West. In other words, Africa. So I have heritage in double portions. Huida, Isolele, Yahuda, Judah, and Ephraim, or Ephraim. So, which goes into Cush, or Abyssinia, and or Ethiopia. Okay, so that's Egypt, Misraim, all right, Ephraim, and the Levitical priesthood, Levi. Okay, now tracing the lineage and territories in the 12 kingdoms, Bulan, we got Kebiru Igbo Ukuwu. We have the Bantu. Some of our people in the Sudan, towards the Blue Nile and the White Nile. Okay. Some of my people of the people of the Kiswahili tribes. All right. Some of them going to Maroon from migrations and stuff like that, nomad migrations, travelings, and into the Caribbeans. Okay. So when you come to the Americas or Turtle Island, this is where you get into the Gulagichi, Creole, Black Hawk, excuse me, I'm eating. All right. So and the Cherokee. All right. To further that, I know when we talk about genetic or genotic, in and by and through genosis, right? Occult genosis, an etymological spelling or researching of these things in words and places. I have heritage and inheritance. In and through mixed multitude. Now, when you're dealing with slave trade systems and all that, again, we go back to here, the dumb diversas, because intermingling and Creoleizing the tongues of nations and peoples, and help me out, intermingling, intermarriage, and all that type of stuff. Rape, incest, and even going to Genesis 28 and knowing the difference between Esau or Esau's Christa, and the merging of the Kabbalion with Esauian Judaism and Spanish, Sicilian, Italian, Greco-Romania, Confucianism of theology, theosophy, philosophy, and all the ideologies that go with that, and Darwin's theory of evolution, Margaret Sanger, connected to that. Planned Parenthood is connected to that. For both, I'm saying, it's all part of the agendas of the same thing right here with the Democratic, the Republicans, the Tea Party, right? Both cabinets for the democracy of Rome, a diplomatic solution, what they call it as being civilized or becoming a civilian to be civil in Spain. All right. So through Draconian Doctrine Code, UCC, Universal Commercial Code, and barbaric practices like child sacrifice, such as the whole Jesus Christ indoctrination, and fictitious, fraudulent, what you call that? What you call that? Yeah. It was a construction. And it was beat over our people and in our people as our people became desensitized to what we call spirituality today in our heritage. In order for our people to be in their order, in other words, their new world order. Because remember that through the doctrine of discovery, they talk about they discovered the new world. So this whole new world order thing that people like, oh, they're up there, the new world order coming up now. No, it's been here for a long time, bro. Been here for the last like 400-500 years. The dualistic Hegelian dialectic is what they use to confuse people and play both sides of the same coin of two-face, Janus and Jambres. The work of the enchantress and enchanters, the sorcerers, the magi, the wicked ones. All right, the demons, the Hasatans, the adversarial slanderers, adversaries and slanderers. They're not our friends, they're our enemies. They're oppressors. Why would you want to understand the ways of being whiting out your gene pool or your DNA to where the point where their goal is for all DNA to become mitochondrial DNA, mutated DNA by inheritance. Because we have a people who are seeking salvation, and salvation in that way that they're projecting it is not for them. They have no right to it. It's by covenant. And it's by covenant one way. through the Creator, that the Creator made with one family of people on the face of the earth. So when you talk about racism, you need to know how many races of mankind there is on the earth. What was I about to look up? I had it right there. Now here, using the tainted and added to, you know, by taking out this Hebrews, Kebiru, Hebrew, the phonesis and phronesis, the phoneticism and the phonetics of bridging the language of the tongues, where you get glitz, okay, pigeon phonetic bridging, and this is how you get the commercial trade system, and all that type of stuff. Now going deeper than that, hemp farming and all type of stuff comes into play. And Spaniards and so on and so forth. Going back to Mr. Joe Biden, his remarks, or when he speaks and all that type of stuff. This is a giant enchantment. A giant, like this whole thing, you know, and of course there's all kinds of black people there. But again, if you know anything about the papacy and their papa bulls and colonialism and fast narcissism, you know what I'm saying? And Project Project Mockingbird, Project Phoenix, Project Lucid. Here you are. New Testament. All of our people. You know what I'm saying? This is where we was brought up in religion. Okay. This right here, so many people are already working in this reality. Right? How would you say that? Yeah. A projected hologram holographic reality system, right? A virtual world. This writing of Daniel, for one example, Revelation 13, Revelation 2, 8, 9, you know, all this stuff like that. Daniel, like all the prophets or the watchmen or the sages and pages and mages, you know what I'm saying? Which is where we get part of the Magi or Madai, okay, or Magakian. Thank you, Father. This you know, runs through the military industrial complex, the Star Wars, and like I said, Blue Beam. It's so I have to go back to watch my videos of it's the Blood Covenant series, the other series, the second part to that series. I'm about to look it up. 1 second. Matter of fact, I can do it on here. Blood Covenant series. Part 6 will be coming shortly in due time. All right, and then the other part to this series, the second part of this, deals with look for this image. Okay, it's all the same image so that you know it's part of the same series. All right. This video, it goes deeper into the Blood Covenant series and this Vibranium Wars and then all that type of stuff, and the Plangenda side of Revelation, and all this type of stuff in the Blood Covenants. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with DNA and all that type of stuff, this is another fact. So it'd be like this would be like the third part of it. I'm doing it on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. So yeah. So I'm gonna get into this in this video. And I'm gonna play the video here because this goes again into what I'm presenting. All right.
Miss Shirley Ann, first of all, I want to say sorry that you had to deal with that, and I'm very sorry that you had to deal with the anxiety of an attack like that. Questions, I guess some things I want to say, but I'm not going to say them right now, so I'll just ask you straight up. What's the situation now? Have you other run-ins with this individual, these two individuals? Have there's any kind of contact between you all?
So after the first incident, the second thing was when he came out of a posture of attention. Again, I've been in the military, or this posturation, and he says to me, you are illegally recording me, and I am going to have a warrant put out for your arrest because you are trespassing on my property and you can't record me, and my attorney will send you a letter. Thank you very much. And then he walks off with this militant or whatever posture. So it's kind of been like church mice, quiet. I have friends that are Caucasian who cut my yard, and so that to me, when they get back, don't worry, we're going to cut your grass. We've cut it before, nothing was ever said, so we're going to see what happened. And it's interesting that he has a African American male who cuts his grass, who I wanted to serve. I wanted to cut my grass. First time he did a good job. The second time he botched up my grass, but I didn't say anything to him on the camera. And it allowed me to believe that he was in cahoots with the neighbor, because he never came back to me and said, ma'am, do you want me to continue to cut your grass, or no interactions whatsoever. So, and then I took a yay to come support my son in his film festival release of the short film, A War on Friendly Grounds, King Jocko Martin, which of course the same Sheriff's Department, Richland County Sheriff's Department, Columbia, South Carolina, were the ones who came to my assistance to take the report. And I was very shocked to learn that this officer actually closed the, because I told him that I wanted to put a restraining on her. And I was like to this captain who sounded like, okay, so what's protocol? Nobody never called to reach out to me. I filed in internal affairs. I still have not heard from them. I don't know what's in my mail when I'll get back, but yeah, I think they just kind of brushed it over like it was nothing. But it is something for me. It is definitely, it's in my mind. When somebody says to somebody that they're going to murder you, I don't take that lightly. People lose their lives off of road rage, you know. I don't take it lightly. I'm a little bit on edge for my family, for my children. And I'm walking the course. I have neighbors across from me, but yeah, I'm concerned because I don't know when they'll come out or when they won't. I do plan to install another camera on the other side, and I'm just going to make sure I stay in tune. with myself.
Torin, did
Miss
you
Shirley,
have
did you say
further
that you were
questions?
licensed? Yes, I do. Miss Shirley, did you say that you were licensed?
I am licensed to carry. And the strange
All
thing
right.
is, I was not carrying because I know it's the person behind the gun and not necessarily the gun itself. But I went on a walk, I carried, I'm working at making myself feel comfortable with this carrying process. So I have a neighbor who also teaches the classes. So him and I are gonna go back to the range and we are going to do some target practice. Yeah.
And as
Okay,
a veteran, you should be able to get that either discounted or for free. Don't ask me how I know that, but you should be able to get that for free. So make sure you ask about that when you go to the range.
Got it.
Erica.
So first and foremost, I hope and pray that you feel safe where you are. That's the first thing that came up for me. And as everyone on the panel, really, our heart goes out to you for this position that you have to be in. And as a veteran myself, I salute you and thank you for your service. That this is definitely not something. Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. And I honor you and how you're standing in your faith, 1 foot in the kingdom, but 1 foot in the natural, understanding the balance of both of those things. I have some familiarity with Columbia, South Carolina, and can say to you that what you experience with regard to law enforcement is of no surprise. They are lackadaisical from A to Z. However, one of the things that I did hear you say.
Are you American? Is your roof in need of an upgrade? The nationwide roof repair and replacement website makes it possible for all U.S. homeowners to easily get a new roof. Not all, but most zip codes qualify. Make sure to enter your zip code on the website.
I don't care. Move.
Was that homeowners association for where you live? So I'm wondering how you have navigated communicating a severe threat. What we in the military would be a threat con delta. So I would consider this a threat con delta, especially with someone not only.
Interesting that she says that. All right.
Verbally attacking you, but to also issue a real threat. How has the homeowners association, if you communicated this with them, been able to help to navigate maybe even removing, I'm not sure if he's leasing or if he's paying a mortgage there, but have they been of help with this hostile neighbor that you have that has issued a real threat to you and to your life?
Now, intriguingly, homeowners association, and then she says threat con delta. Let me show you something. Because now these symbols right here. Hold up. This shouldn't be just interpreted with just all this number. Now, this is a whole paragraph right here, as we call it, a whole message right here, the whole thing. All of this, all right, is connected to Egyptian Igbo or Kebiru, Geese or Amharic, which goes into Egyptian, Abyssinia, Kush, Ethiopia, right? They say it's Western esotericism, but it's not the West's writing system. It has a specific name to it. I'm not going to say that name on this video. But Theosophy is a religion established in the United States during the 19th century. It was founded primarily by the Russian Helena Blavatsky. All right. You can read up on her. These symbols, for the most part, are not their symbols. Okay, Christian Theosophy, again, is a Spanish white man. That's where Christianity came from. It wasn't black first. It was introduced to people in Negro land and all over Al-Qaeda during the 12, 13, 14, 15, 100, 16, 17, 18, 19 to this day. Okay. This demon of the Pope going to the Africas, Al-Qaeda, and visiting specific people again, where the original places, Aboriginal places, like stuff is being revealed to people of where certain stuff started and giving answers like clear as day. And many people not even catching on to it. All right. So that's why you have white people there. Whether you call them tan people, pink people, true colored people, they get bruised, they get all kind of colors. Or whatever. The point is, they're not Aboriginal mankind. They're not the Aboriginal race of mankind. The Aboriginal race of mankind is brown-skinned, melanated people of all colors. Okay? Brown people or black people are the only people who have the genetics or the DNA, the divinity in them, so to speak, who are able to produce an albino, red-haired, and blonde-haired, and or white-haired child. No other race is able to produce a brown-skinned child if they are not brown-skinned. Period. This right here talks about Quetzalcoatl, or the serpent of the book of Revelation. The dragon seed, the serpent seed in Genesis chapter 3, verse 5 through 17. The serpent seed and the colonializing of the Africas. Now, the black jaguar, has spiritual essence and representation that is deeper, right? This also goes into the Congos, invasion of the Congos. Okay. Now they speak about vibranium all up in here. All right. And when you're speaking about vibranium and inquisitions and the acquisitions of Rome, colonizing and pillaging and all that type of stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? These are the serpent's children. All right. There's a lot of brown-skinned, black-colored people who are the serpent seed children as well. Ham, and as they say, Yafeth. Right now, if Yafeth was white, the white bull, right? A white bull or whatever. I kind of question that at times too. But then I kind of don't at the same time, because when they talk about the white bull and all that type of stuff, dealing with Noah, then he, it is a depiction of Noah being an albino. All right. Now, Yafeth, for him to be white, as these so-called scholars project out there, he'd have to be an albino as well. All right. When they read in the writings where it talks about, his parents, or his father thought that, he was one of the children of the Malachim, or children of the angels, which is keynote right there. That's another clear telltale sign that, there's not only two races of mankind out here, but there are four. I want to say just three, But you know, when counting other things like clones, because you got aboriginal or aborigine, then you have the hybrid mutants, which would be the Nephilim, Rephaim, so on and so forth, right? The mutants, the X-Men, the X gene, the Rh negative recessive gene, of the albinos. Then you got, or then you have their offspring, all right, and the clones. So, I'm gonna play this right here because it says a lot. There is a program, Project Super Soldier, all right, and Jarvis, just like you see on Iron Man. Project Jarvis. Now, don't get me wrong. But ain't nobody got nobody like a black woman. I'm just gonna say that, leave that there. In her DNA. And I'm not just talking or speaking about the black woman. I'm saying black man, black woman. All right, because with no black man, there's no black woman. So there don't need to be no isms. You know what I'm saying? Feminism and all that type of stuff. That shit came from Europeans who your people damn near completely, and other peoples who helped them do that according to Psalm 83. So all the women that's colored, that's all up in that shit that they doing with the fashion, man, that shit is, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? There's so many messages encoded in this alone. It's super deep. It's too deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, from her earring alone, from the side of her earring, how her ears are pierced, from her head covering or gele, you know what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? From her color that she's wearing, you know what I'm saying, how they're meeting up, so on and so forth. I can go on and 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 on. You know what I'm saying? You know, we dealing with Bantu people, the Limba, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. When you look at all the different tribes and stuff like that, that's in the 12 tribes of SHEMA or Israel, right? Now they said it's the deleted scene. You know, it's there's purpose for them deleting scene. Now, whether Chad Baldwick was part of the Illuminati, so to speak, or not, you know what I'm saying, that hand sign that he's making is a Cushite or Ethiopian, Abyssinian hand sign, a Mizraim, an Egyptian hand sign. All right. In Western theosophy, you know, philosophy and all that type trash, they have stolen the Aboriginal deciphering interpretation of what that stuff is and rewritten it. This was the whole point of the dumb diversities and everything that I'm going into. But we're going to finish this and I'm going to go into that.
The life. So I actually shared the video. She was actually taken by surprise, and she shared that she would take it to their legal team. Like I said, maybe a week or so after I left and I came to LA. I think that following weekend I actually flew out here, or it might have been a week. Just kind of tried to keep myself busy. Still waiting to also hear back from them. The neighbors are aware. I didn't realize how it really impacted me until the same day. Was it the same day? It was the same day. I was at the pool walking because I went to go to the association, not realizing that they were closed because it was a Saturday. It was like my mind just racing. And one of the neighbors, white female, she stopped and she talked to me and she said, I heard a whole lot of noise, but I didn't know what was going on. So I shared it with her. And there was this Caucasian male that was across the street. And he stopped and he said, hey, I have no idea where this guy was, but he said, hey, are you okay? And I literally just burst in tears. One, for a couple of reasons. One, because I didn't realize how traumatic that experience was for me, because, you know, we're all tough, hoo-ah, whatever. And the other part was that that man looked like the man who threatened me, and he cared enough to inquire about me. So I had kind of mixed emotions going on with me at that time. When I get back, I do plan to do a follow-up. This neighbor told me some time ago that he was going to put a fence up. I'm waiting on him. I wish he would put a fence up on the long side of my property that you cannot see. Is some vegetation like fruit or whatever. And I said to him when he told me about putting up the fruit, the fence, I said to him that I wanted to plant, you know, some herbs or whatever. And he's like, well, you're not going to be able to get to it. Well, there's a meter over there. I'm smart enough to know that Dominion, which is electricity gas company, has to have access to that meter. But I was a little bit taken back because he said no, but I didn't give him any reaction to his comment. As far as saying to me, no, he would not allow anything or whatever. I was like, whatever, got it, next. Yeah, because I mean, it's your property, do whatever the heck you want to do with it. If your property doesn't allow certain things, what I do know is that they have to access that meter. Put your fence up. In the end, it was like, that means I don't have to look at you. I don't care, you know, and that's my kind of my attitude. And what I have found growing up in America is when we take that type of attitude, it is the individuals who are uncomfortable in who they are that attempt to oppress and or intimidate someone else to change their mindset.
If you're 45 and live in the United States and you still don't have life insurance, we're going to show you how.
That's another thing too, where they're trying to promote all this stuff that these people do. Like, you know, it's deeper than that. But anyway, this right here in itself is just amazing. Look what's going on in the market nowadays, right? The inflation that is, you know, it's caused. It's an agenda. They're deliberately sabotaging and destroying history and everything connected to it yet again diversely. Too many people are knowledgeable of who they are and where they come from, and the truth is out. They don't like that, so they're trying to stop that. This is why this creature, this demon, this is a wicked creature. This is not a human being. Those are monsters. Flesh, reptilian seed, the Greys, so on and so forth. Those are not real human beings. They're not Yah's chosen people either. So that New Testament that people out there putting out there, they've taken from your own writings, your own heritage, and they talk about they burned all the books and all the papers and papers. No, they didn't. They may have burned some things, but that's why they have the Smithsonian, the act of the Discovery Act. That's where that come from. All the National Geographic and National History stuff. The majority of them out there is white people exploring in the name of, well, colonizing in the name of exploration. So the deliberate sabotage of grain mills, seed vaults, chickens, eggs, farms, forests, national parks, closing them off. You know, all these hazards, biochemical warfare, so on and so forth. Going back to what that woman had said, you know what I'm saying? Thank you. Let me go back here now that I finally got that going on. Okay. DEFCON 5 is the lowest state of readiness, indicating minimal threat, whereas DEFCON 1 indicates maximum threat and readiness. As of June 2022, the current DEFCON level is 3. And it's been like this for almost a year now. read on to see how that is calculated and more on. So right now, DEFCON level, they say, is 3. Although I really think it's 2. Because there's so much that they don't speak to people about. The media, propaganda machine, they're not going to reveal the truth until it's like already too late. Something already happened. That's how they do, because they're part of the same forecasting, so on and so forth, like that. This is so much symbolism, and this alone, it's nuts. Now I'm telling you, people, my people, please hear me and take heed. Africa Command, right? Now, this is the first time I've seen this one, ever. But this right here is the truth of what's going on in America. The truth. And where we're really at. 2. All right? Now, if you see this head in here, right, which represents the crown head, you see the horn of Africa right here, right here. But we are the head. We are the head of the nations. We are literally the head of nations. Now, right here is a yoni symbol. Okay? This leaf thing right here, you know what I'm saying? Even the X part this goes into the anus right here. But, the leaf symbol and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So if you want to know more about coronavirus, wow, head virus. They see us as a virus to exterminate and completely annihilate us. This is where, hold on real quick, because I got to do this. This is what coronavirus is about. Right here. It's in your face. You don't have to agree with me. But this is why this creature is going to our territories and doing what they do. You think they care about us for real, for real? Hell no, bro. Not at all. Not even in the slightest. Not even a little bit. They went into our lands to wipe the land out. So when Joe Biden said what he said, there's purpose to that. You think this creature loves black people? And look, they love him. This is an oppressor. This is their Jesus Christ, the vicar of Christ. The Jesus Christ conspiracy, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order. He bears the hat of Dagon, the so-called fish god, and or what they call it. Thank you. Yeah. It goes into Oceanus and Roman Greco deities and all that type of stuff, and Zeus and all the Poseidon and all that type of stuff. Okay, the people of the cross, Knights of the Rose Cross, the Rosicrucians, Knights Templar, KKK, Ku Klux Klan, okay, or Ku Klux Klan. There's always a cross burning before a lynching. All right. Emperor Constantine and Bishop Ignatius, self-proclaimed people. They oppose our Creator, the Most High, Yahuwah. They oppose him at all. Rome, come on, man. These are the people who have scattered our people, and hidden and taken away your history, your heritage, try to wipe you out as a people. Psalm 83. Go read it. The men in black. The dudes in suits, the black and the red and the white, that's Great Britain. All that shit. The 70 and platinum jubilee of their so-called white queen. They hear all these so-called new age people talking about their white queen and blah, blah, blah. That's what they talking about. They don't even know what the fuck they talking about at all. The white queen is written in the book of Revelation too. Meaning as also in. You know what I'm saying? Like Revelation 12 and on through. That's the white queen that they talking about. This is our enemy. This is war that they come on, man. This is war. This war has been going on for so long. They hate us. Absolutely. France is French. The French have enslaved our people. They got the Chinese people enslaving our people now. They do it to their own people. Walking 9 days to see this bastard. Dressed in scarlet. Babylon, the great whore, the mother of all harlots, rides the beast system. This is the beast in the beast system. Great Britain connected to that. The woman, the only woman that was like, they had that much territories, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, that they colonized and pillaged and ruined and destroyed. And they have had so many holocausts. Millions and millions of our people, if not billions and billions of our people, have been massacred. Genocides, black holocaust. The whole Holocaust theory that they talk about is of our people. And they sitting there praising this man and exalting him as if he's the creator, as if he's our savior. And he's not. This is where the whole Jesus Christ thing come from. Hence, a white man on a cross. The white man of the cross. The white knight with robes dipped in blood. How the fuck do people not see this shit, bro? For lack of better words, but come on, bro. The nigga red and white. Come on, bro. These are the Freemasons. These are the Bavarian Illuminatis, along with other people. These people who are with them, they're traitors. Psalm 83. All those tribes and peoples named in Psalm 83 are black people, Hamites, and all the other names of the families of Ham in their bloodline and all that type of stuff. These are people of Nigeria. These are Nigerian colors. Some of our own people won't let go of their Jesus. They won't let go of their Jesus. The system, the society of Jesus is the Jesuit order. They doing it in Mozambique. They doing it in Zimbabwe. A body, a dead body. Black is symbolism. Their symbolism of death. To purge it, to purge the land. The symbolism of their red is to draw blood. Through drawing blood, through the shedding of blood, bringing death, which is black, through purging, cleansing. In order to cleanse, you got to bring blood. You got to draw the blood. There has to be death. Because that brings the purification, the gold. Phoenicians, it wouldn't be right to have Phoenician people out there, or talk about Phoenicians and not have Phoenician people with them. Phoenician colors. Those are the scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees and Sadducees, people of the cross. Go look up pictures of the Ku Klux Klan. Go look up Knights Templar, Knights of the Rose Cross, Knights of Malta, and so on and so forth. All right, we can go on and on if you want to. Cap these mosques, Muslim, whatever you want to call them. They got this. They got mosques and stuff like that too. Palestine, Israel. So exactly, perfect example. You know what I'm saying? 1948 fake Shemitic people. They're not true. They're liars. These are colors of Great Britain, bro. In South Korea. These are the jurisdictions that they go to. Then yeah, your people being enslaved to Korean people too. He not disabled. This nigga walks. You see that? Well, that's 8 years ago. He walks. He not disabled. There's an inquisition and acquisition at hand. Check this out. It's an extermination plan. And they're gathering with the leaders over there. Because the goal is to root out our people out of those lands and take over that land. Anybody that doesn't submit to their system and what they're doing won't be part of it. This is where you get the CRISPR-Cas9 and graphene oxide stuff in the COVID vaccinations and stuff like that, and nanotechnology. Oh yeah, this right here, this is real life. Like real life for real life. I'm not gonna play too much on that. I'm gonna let that play while I play this. Let this finish so I can continue going.
Reese, I'm going to get to you in 1 second and let you ask your question, but I wanted to ask Shirley Ann, just as far as something that you stated, you said you saw an individual who looked like the man, and even though it wasn't him, you ended up bursting into tears and crying. I'm almost wondering if this incident almost caused a sort of PTSD, so to speak.
And, it was.
Go on.
You don't have to wonder. I'll tell you right off the bat, it was. One, because I didn't think it would happen to me. It happened to my son. And so I went through that experience with my son, King Jacquel. Even when I went to the film festival this past weekend to watch War on Friendly Ground, it was very, 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 very real to me to rewatch that movie. It was like living it all over again. So, yeah.
Well, as someone who's gone through trauma, being attacked, and who is a big proponent for going to counseling, I would suggest seeking out that, only for several reasons. One, for your own mental health to help you, but as well as you'll have record that this incident, caused you to potentially have this sort of distress. So that way, when you do take it further with the police, or if you decide to take this to court, you will have record of how this incident impacted you, something you never should have had to go through at all. And if you have a local vet center, I used to be in Columbia, South Carolina, there's the Columbia Vet Center that you can go to, and they will see you. You don't even have to give them all your information. You just show up and say, hey, I need to talk to someone, and they'll definitely help you. So I just wanted to offer that information. On that note, though, Reese, what are your thoughts?
First of all, Ms. Montgomery, I'm sorry that you have to experience this. I have to say, I do like your style. I liked your energy in that video. A lot of times we do, put on the veneer of strength, and even though we're terrified on the inside, but I do appreciate how you conducted yourself by not backing down. One comment is, I would suggest, maybe not you, because I understand how distressing this is, but maybe an ally, maybe a neighbor, checking their social media and seeing if they're saying anything about this to help use against them at some point, if it's civil suit or restraining order. A lot of times these folks like to tell on themselves. So I would make that recommendation. And then the question I have for you is, since you aren't getting a lot of cooperation with the police department, is there somebody in city government that you can reach out to, to kind of enlist to help you with getting more responses out of the police department?
So I did speak with my counselor. I'm big on counseling. I believe it helps us. And so what she recommended was I reach out to Sheriff Leon Lott, send him the video. He may or may not be aware of what was going on. And it'll be interesting to see how they'll respond, because they will learn that I am the mother of the officer from that same department who assaulted my son. So that's going to be kind of interesting. And I had a conversation with Leon Lott, had it on recording, I don't know where it is, when my son's incident happened in 2005. And what I understood was, what I said to him was, very professionally, is that officers are indicative of their leaders. Of course, that comes from my military background. Your soldier is indicative of how you lead them. And he probably took that offensive. And for me, it was like a threat, like, don't call the police department, don't come to the police department, Internal Affairs has it. And I felt that if I would have went to that police department, he probably would have arrested me for some petty charge of harassing the police or whatever. So I kind of backed away a little bit, but the message was very clear. So we'll see how he will respond to me. As far as I promise you, when you all did the clip and then my address was there, I was like kind of cringed a little bit. But my whole piece is, one, I know that God has me, and two, I just believe it'll work out for my good. And three, if this guy is not a part of the process of the end, and of course I know we can speed things up with life, then he can't touch me. And it's a spiritual warfare from that angle for me, literally.
Shirley Ann, I wanted to thank you so much for joining us today. I would hope that you would keep in touch with us, and as this story keeps developing, and keep us updated on how it goes. But again, I'm so sorry that you had to go through this, even just as a woman in South Carolina, but also as a veteran having to go through this. You should not have to endure any of this. And so I'm so sorry for that, but thank you for sharing your story. And I hope that you're able to get some justice, and hopefully maybe their ears will perk up and they'll actually start listening now that you're being outspoken about this. So thank you so much for joining us.
Just one moment.
When we invest in ourselves, we're investing in what's next for all of us. Growing.
All right, so code words that she's speaking of, right? Now, y'all remember everything about 2019 and the whole George Floyd thing, right? Okay, that's connected to all of this stuff. Now, I'm going to go into this part. This woman's name is Natasha Grace. I take everything with a grain of salt from people that are being guided, even though they don't even know they're being guided in certain ways. But when it comes to truth, just connecting pieces. So yeah, that's why I'm playing this.
Hi, Saints. I hope you're all good. I pray the blessings of the Lord over you. Something's not right, and as believers, I know that I cannot be the only one that is feeling this in my spirit, that has discerned that something is very, very wrong and off behind the scenes. So apart from all the distractions that's happening clearly I heard people talking about the Grammys and other things here and there, we need to still keep our eyes on things that they're trying to push to the side, things that they're trying to not let us pay attention to. All right? I know a few days ago that there was a earthquake and just devastation in Turkey, and it's so heartbreaking, all the lives that were lost. Last time I heard it was over 20,000 lives, and it's just a very sad thing, right? It's very, very sad. The saints, to how they are just barely just bypassing the whole issue, even with the balloons in quotations that they are finding. They shut down one in Alaska the other day, and it's said to be Chinese balloons, okay, spying balloons and stuff like that. So in the media, there's all of this just coming out, whether it's the spying, whether it's devastation, whether it's entertainment. So something from each area has just exploded. Why? Why? What are you trying to not make us see? Right? And my spirit is very bothered and very heavy because something is just not right. Right? Now, earlier, I just heard in my spirit after the Super Bowl. I heard something about the Super Bowl like last year or something like that. I heard somebody saying, what's her name is gonna perform, and Rihanna, right? But after the Super Bowl, what will it be? I don't know. Will it be after the show at the venue? Will it be just something that happens after close, right after our close, after I can't give it time? When I heard that in my spirit, and I just wanted to just come on here and ask you guys and alert you guys and have you all saints just be praying. Be praying. We have no idea right now what may be coming, right? But the discernment in us, the Holy Spirit should be prompting us that something is terribly wrong. We are living in one of the worst times morally in civilization, right? For those that are deep in that type of lifestyle, it's a win for them. But when it comes to true morality, it is not a good time for us, right? Some things that would have just been unacceptable just 10 years ago is now the new norm, is now what is the blueprint. So we should not even make ourselves be conforming or transforming to please these times and all that the current standards are asking of us. Our standard is God. What He stands for becomes our standards. What the Heavenly Father stands for becomes our standards, right? Can you believe that the Church of England is petitioning, asking that God, right, be referred to as they, them, that our Heavenly Father, that can't be placed into words in a description of Him. They want His pronouns to be they, them. This is where I draw the line. Saints, as Christians, true Christians, believers, children of God, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? What is going on? There's something terribly wrong in the world. And we are like at the pinnacle of that. So, please be praying. Please be vigilant. Please be ready because we are living in the end times. You see how fast the days have been by? You just wake up, by time, if you're working, I go to work, by time you type two things, it's lunchtime. After lunchtime, you have your lunch, you go back, type two things again, have a conversation with a coworker, boom, it's time to go home. 2022 literally flashed past some of our eyes. We just said Happy New Year for 2022. And that's why in Matthew it says that the days will be shortened, especially when it is in the time of the tribulation, when we get into that deep tribulation time, when we, the saints, the believers, the children of God, will be prosecuted for our beliefs. I love how our Father says He will shorten those days for our sake. right? For our sake, because he's such a good God. So I'm saying there is just so much evil brewing underneath all these distractions. What are they amounting to? Why was there just boom, boom, boom distraction in every single aspect of what they would call newsworthy groups, entertainment, humanity with the what's happening in Turkey, and just everything, what's going on, wars and rumors of wars with these balloons, and with China, and they were shot them down, and what is going on? Are you looking at your shelves in the supermarket? Are you realizing that the price of food has skyrocketed, and it's not just in the US, it's internationally. It has internationally increased. The effects are worldwide. What do they not want us to see? But let us continue to put our faith in the Lord, to put our faith in the one true God.
Which is not Lord, because that word, I mean, beyond the word, beyond the interpretation of master, there's Baal or Baalim or Bel is in there as well. Natasha Grace, is that's the name of her YouTube channel. I'm gonna show this. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. Okay, but she got one in there dealing with video footage and stuff like that of, you know, meals, the eggs being destroyed and stuff like that when you're dealing with the market and stuff like that. Like, this all literally goes deeply connected. So I'm gonna play these now because I wanted to show this one thing right here. Now she's dressed like as a Bantu woman. Shuri's mom. Okay, she's wearing a gele. It says a lot. When you're talking about the invasion of the Congos and the manifesting inquisition and acquisition, yet again, over the stones that they found in the Congos, you know, 3 signs of what? Making fire, welding, and electricity. You know what I'm saying? Controlling it on your own, which reveals the truth. It's so deep right there. It's ridiculous. That's so empowering. And, you know, of course, they don't want that. So all the world religions are together working as one to do anything and everything that they can destroy. They could do to destroy our people in our existence. Again, Psalm 83. I'm gonna play this one first.
You know you don't need to do that. Do what?
Do what?
Protect me. I'm not here to protect you. I'm here to say goodbye.
Where will you go?
Wherever my new spacesuit takes me.
I thought you said it was ugly.
Oh, it's hideous. For a Dora. But I'm not a Dora anymore. If you ever need me, na ni ni na.
All right, so that part right there, bro. This is what I'm saying. She's speaking in Yoruba, which is one of the Bantu languages. It's the Bantu tongue. All right, so Society of Jesus and Theosophy and conquests and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Again, look up the Negro maps, because these are places where they've invaded our homeland. All right. Nubia. Oh yeah, this is deep right here in itself. Arabia. Society of Jesus. Nubia. What did she say?
Na nini na. If you ever need me, na nini na.
Nina. Dog. I don't even be trying sometimes. They just yeah hallelujah. That's all I can say. Yeah hallelujah. Yeah hallelujah. I am. Bro, this is so deep. This is so deep. This is so deep. Y'all just don't know how deep it really is. But we going deep, deep. Johnny John. You know what I mean? So Nini, you are too many people. Nini ke abantu abanobu. Mene afa. In English means you are the people that are hypocrites here. Bro. Yo, hallelujah. Well, look at the Most High, yo. Yeah, hallelujah. Eku kale, excuse me. Eku kalenki. Excuse me. Eku kalekeni. Eku kalekini. Sonini nanini. Wadala umlaba. Umlaba. English means in the beginning. What the shit? Stupid ads. Where was it at? In the beginning, I am that I am created the earth. Nini, forever existence. Ndingo, so Nini na Nini. Umdali wento zonke. Excuse me. Umdali wento zonke in English means I am the forever existence of the creator of all. Nini, when in time, when ziwa nini lo msebenzi, in English means when is the job getting done. Show this Dave. I just had to do that because that right there was just unexpected. I wasn't expecting to come across that. What is the UIC, whatever Hebrew Israelite religious movement they got going on. I don't like them because they're not in doing what they're doing in truth, and they have been literally they have betrayed their people. I'm gonna put it like that. They betrayed their people. So that's the truth of that. They have betrayed their own people. They have turned against their people. They have turned to Sir Quetzalcoatl, Hasatan, Asazal, Hillel, Lucifer, whom the Pope in them, in so-called in light of things, represents the man of sin who caused the whole earth to tremble. In Isaiah, was it 12-14 and all that? I'll give you all the praise. It's just so many things that I just want to show and I want to deal with. But we're starting here. That's true. Even the word heaven itself, and going back into the whole Janus etymology and stuff like that, it's really deep, man. It's really deep. Like some of the you can't make this stuff up. People try to, and they that's when you find some other stuff. But like when you're not even trying to look for stuff and it just pops up, that's offer it. Yeah, hallelujah. That's all there is to it. But again, you got to know who you are. You know what I'm saying? You got to know who he is. You got to know how he thinks of you. You know what I'm saying? His desires towards you. You have to know what's going on. You have to do your own due diligence. Because there's stuff out here for people to know and learn. You know what I'm saying? But it's a choice. It's a will of choice. Like you got to be willing. You have to be willing to learn. Sabbatha Aka. Sabbath is actually a Bantu word. But Black Lives Matter clearly served two different two or three different works. One, their plan was exposed to do what they was doing again before. Now, which is what they're doing. It's not that something is coming, it's here. And that's the whole thing about waking people up or trying to help people speak is like, bro, Christianity teaches, something that's about to come. And it's like, no, it's already here. But what Christianity don't know, then you see the people who still following after the society of their Jesus, that's not the Savior. You know what I'm saying? He is not the creator. The one that exalts himself above all things that is called, the creator. And or Alua or Aluahim or God, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so much. It's so much, man. It's so much. It's so much that people just don't know. You know, and because of so many distractions, social media, terrible so-called teachers out there, you know what I'm saying? It's like that are not teachers. Like everybody out there calling themselves teachers, like we're here to help be instrumental in sharing, you know what I'm saying, what we know. You know, even this part, you know what I'm saying? Like this part is annoying now more than ever. Because I used to think Esau was white too, but then you gotta sit there and think like the only way Esau could have been white is if he was yeah, help me. He lacked melanin. Albino, thank you, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then over here Jacob projected as black. Esau was black too, or brown. With red hair all over. All you gotta do is go look up pictures of black people with red hair and orange hair. Black people with gold hair and blonde hair. Albino black people with orange and red hair, or white hair, or blonde hair, or gold hair. You're gonna find it. Black people. I could give an example showing it, but I'm not gonna go into that right now. You know what I'm saying? This right here was part of. It's just so much, bro. It's so much. There's so much to this. You know what I'm saying? Then they wanted Jesus to be black, but at the end of the day, the society of Jesus has both, you know, brown and white people in it. But it's a society. You know what I'm saying? It's a society. Mercy. It's a society. You know what I'm saying? And that's what so many people don't realize. You know, those words came from those people. Those people who fight against us, and they're like fervently hostile against us. There's all out war out here. While everybody's sitting there, oh, the war in Ukraine or the war in Turkey and all the you know the earthquakes and stuff like that. Well, whether they're causing the stuff or not through HARP or DARPA and all that other type of stuff, the reality of it is, they are being judged. The wrath of the Most High is upon their nations, because the Most High is promised to destroy the seed of the serpent. All the Hasatans, Azazel, different names that they go by according to the tongues of nations and peoples, you know, and their chiefs, those who came down upon Mount Hermon, which is also near or centered in that region of what they call Palestine, Israel, that they made up in 1968. Yeah, I know. They got so much in here. It's reloaded. It's so deep. I have a lot of questions. I have many questions. Many questions. You know, with this second Exodus thing, I'm not gonna speak too much on that, because it's like, you know, I'm letting the Most High guide me, you know what I'm saying, and lead me, and instruct me, because, you know, there's a lot of he said, she says. I'm not trying to get caught up in that type of stuff. Like, I just want to know what it is for what it is for what it is. You know what I'm saying? The way it is. That's all there is to it. Some people talking about, you know, Armada coming and be driven, you know, taking on ships to the homelands and different stuff. I've seen all kind of stuff. Although at the same time, you know, if it is true that well, it is true in some areas, in some ways, so I'm not going to say that, but I think when it comes to salvation, and even when you look into the promises of the Most High, and when it deals, or when in covenant with his people, with us, his people, you know what I'm saying, inheriting the whole earth, When you're talking about a second Exodus, you know, you gotta, some things have to be put into proper perspective. They have to be put in the proper lighting. You know, the whole, inherit the whole earth. And then when you talk about the lot of Shem in the book of Jubilees, you know what I'm saying? They all this, that's all the writings that they got for the New Testament. They took them out of these texts before it became the apocryphal text. You know what I'm saying? Like these books were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, ancient scrolls. Ain't that something? Noyana. I have a sister whose name is Yana. It's literally in the names of your family members. I'm not playing any games. Literally, my other sister, her name is Labula. We call her Bula. But y'all showed me some stuff. It was like, oh, I know her. I know her real name. You know what I'm saying? And it's so deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, look that up. Yah talks to people. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to us through our DNA and through our names. That's bro. That's a Bantu name. Like, and I have people in my relatives, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. They look here, man. Let me look from the darkest brown to the lightest brown. Not even playing. It's too deep, bro. It's too deep. I'm not playing no games. Teach your children. Get them out of these schools. Get out the 9 to 5. Work with your people. You need to be ready for this stuff. They sitting there talking about they doing all this, destroying the markets and all this type of stuff. How you gonna survive if you don't get your genetics altered and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? You need to work with your own people, build with your own people. You need to know who your people is. We need each other. There's so much confusion out there, man. You know, I'm looking at so much parts of my journey and different stuff like this, you know, different names. You know what I'm saying? And we used to pray in, like, you know, this is idolatry, bro. This is idolatry. It's bondage, literally. They promising all these people a heritage that they don't get, that they will not receive, because it's not their heritage. It's not their birthright. It's not their birthright. That's all there is to it. You know, Obama not for you. His family not for you. You know what I'm saying? They're not for us. They don't care anything about us, man. That's what people just like how many times we got to say it? They don't care about us at all. They have no concern, no desire for us. They gonna play double roles to fulfill their agendas. That's what they do. It's called the art of deception, the art of war. That's what they do. That's why they're called actors. Same Decepticons and Transformers and all their agendas and augmenting their bodies and all the crap that they do. Oh, man. I'm so thankful for our people, bro. I'm so thankful for you, Father Yah, because if it's not for you, well, we don't have any hope out here. For real, for real. Apart from Yah, we don't have any help. You know what I'm saying? All we got out here. And people so focused on just building business. Like, bro, there's so much things. Like, this is way more important than that. Building a business, like, you shouldn't be building no business if you're not building Yah's kingdom and doing business with our own people. We the ones that might go, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna go hungry, you know what I'm saying? But we, like, it's all against us. What do you mean? You want to sit there and entertain everybody else and make content for them and all this crap for them and wishing coulda, woulda, shoulda and all this other type shit. Hell no. Christianity teaches you to work like them, to be like them, to be one of their soldiers. Soldiers. Capernaum. Amor. Eka. Yeah. When I was doing research on this a while back, that's one thing that I looked at was America, America, Capernaum. There's some connections to that. This is the Society of Jesus. This is the Ku Klux Klan. This is the Knights Templar, Knights of the Rosy Cross. This all the. You know what I'm saying? Giving the people all promise to go to heaven, and they're still enslaved. When you die, then you'll get your it's a possibility you can get your heritage, an inheritance. Like, bro, what, nigga? No, that's not how we doing that. We receiving in the land of the living, in the land of our captivity, and outside of the land of our captivity as well. Period. These weirdos got microwave radiation machines, laser guided lasers. You know what I'm saying? Like just destroying and burning up lands and homes and all types of shit. Smart grid system, visa tracking, identification system, all types of shit, bro. Like, come on, man. The two witnesses are his people. This stuff is deep, man. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go into this stuff, like it gets deeper than that. Like, bro, it's too deep. I can literally sit here and talk about, cannabis, the marijuana plant too, if you want to go into it. Like, not even playing. I don't know about all that, but even the word hell and how that goes into the Janus and stuff like that too. A Trinity and all that type of stuff and all that. This stuff is deep, man. Wouldn't that be funny if the whole earth was Africa? Just a side note. And yeah, because I seen it, I looked at that video. That's why I said that. Because I used to think too, like, what if they trying to get us to go to another land when this is the land we're supposed to be in the whole time, and it's connected to that land, or it's connected to that land? It's the first time I've seen this page, so but that's funny how that just come up out of nowhere too, or how it's on this page. I'm gonna doing some investigation and researching on this right here, because I do know Pauline doctrine. Yeah, I started learning about the Pauline doctrine and stuff like that, like 2000. Oh man, it was a while ago, 2017, 18. Yeah, I was learning about that for a minute. This whole 144,000 thing, I don't think that's accurate at all, because y'all said he would redeem his people from the nations. You know what I'm saying? And there will be a mixed multitude. So that's clearly more than 144,000. Some of this stuff I could see as they journey out of Christianity, and stuff like that. And Yeah, they everywhere. But it's deep, man. It's deep. But even this stuff, like, you know what I'm saying, January, Janus, and all that stuff, I don't like when you go into the Old Testament or the Tanakh. You first month, the second month, third month, you know, stuff like that. But you don't see January, February, March, April, May, none of that shit. That's Greco-Roman stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why when they try to put it in the Bantu lingam, it's like, okay, is that more European English type? You know, what you call it? Europeanized Bantu. You know what I'm saying? Look at that shit. Dude look like he on drugs, man. On that adrenochrome. All blacks can defeat Illuminati, bro. If they the ones, if they God's people, it's over for them anyway. And that's another thing. I might do a separate video. No matter of fact, no, I'm not. The word Illuminati, to be illuminated and all that type of stuff, we are the illuminated ones. Okay. We are the illuminated ones. We are the light of the world. We are those. We are the sons and daughters of Yahuwah. We are His called and chosen. We are the Messiah. As a people, we are His firstborn. That John 3:16 stuff is about us. It's not about them. It ain't about that Jesus. None of that. Again, you have a whole. These people have added stuff, taken stuff away, put their own spin on it, put their theosophies and religions and traditions, doctrines of men and commandments, and like the whole. Their own words are exposing, and those are Greco-Roman, Spanish, all types, Celtics, Italians. Like these are mafias. You know what I'm saying? These are the world bankers and gangsters and all that type of stuff who are everywhere, bro, doing what they doing. Nigerians. But anyway, you know, I wanted to show this stuff because it is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you really have to go into it. Long story short. And I could say so much just from my own journey. You know what I'm saying? Nanini. Yokubi. Yeah, just like the Atlantic Ocean is not the Atlantic Ocean for real. It's the Abyssinian Sea. Abyssinia. Ethiopian Sea. Jacob. Oh boy. Iyo Quinla. Thank you, boy. Nigeria. Where you got? Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana. Samba times. Feast days. Autumn feasts. Okanzibe. That food looks so gorgeous right now. Kibera. And this is another thing when it comes to Yehoshua, from what I know thus far, is Joshua. So there's a lot of people who have a heart, really, you know what I'm saying, have a heart and a desire to seek the Most High, you know what I'm saying, and follow in his after in his ways. Although they still in idolatry because they're going after a man and not Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about the battle of Jericho and Joshua, you know, turning to the commander of Shemaim armies and stuff like that, and the commander instructing him to take off his sandals. You know what I'm saying? For the ground he walks on, it stands on is Kodesh ground, or Kodesh ground, and he does it. Yahushua does it. Yahusha does it. You know what I'm saying? He takes his slippers off, his sandals off, and he bows down and he reverences the commander. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see a pattern of that. You know, the Most High did the same thing with Moshe. You know what I'm saying? Telling him to take his sandals off. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's other Malakim that'd be like, I'm of your brother and the servants, the prophets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, glorify or exalt Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? The Most High, the Creator. Thus far that I know of, his name is Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? But just like I learned the other ones, I'm pretty sure it gets deeper than that as well. I'm quite sure. You know. But this stuff is all it's always so much to it, you know what I'm saying? And it is deep. But when you're talking about your history, you gotta know. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know your history, bro. Like this is not a game. 1 second. Um, yeah. So yeah, it's deep, man. It's really deep. You know, it is really, really deep out here. But you know, the truth will set you free if you want to be. You know, I'm not like this whole second temple stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of iffy about that type of stuff. Knowing what I know now, because again, I can see Christianity's um, Christianity's work is all up in there. You know, as far as I know, Aboriginal Jerusalem was in the Sub-Saharan desert. Um, and then there's some things coming up as far as they think maybe it could have been in the Kalahari. Now there may have been part of our people's territories and things that's going on in both of those areas. What I'm saying. Now the specific area of Jerusalem. Well, there's a song called Jerusalem. Look it up. You know what I'm saying. But what is it? Southwest Africa or West Africa? You know what I'm saying? Territory. I'm pretty sure if dealing with the invasion of the Congos and stuff like that in its location, what I'm saying, geographically speaking and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that Jerusalem had to have been in that area. So my thoughts definitely would go more towards, when I'm standing on more right now as far as the Sub-Saharan and the fact that one of my children has a name that connected to a parable the Most High gave to me says a lot. So I'm just gonna run with what he's speaking, and it's made known to me. As I said before, this stuff is really, 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 really deep, and we're gonna have to learn and study for some hours. Hours. Jerusalem. All you say is it will be. But yeah, man. This junk is deep. And no, we're not finished. But kind of leaving a trail for y'all to see. They have parted my land. And that'll be another thing I'll be looking at too. If they parted the land in Africa, I'll be looking at where all the white people is at. Because that's gonna make known so much that needs to be known on its own. Like where all the white people at, where they've been dispersed to. Because that'll say that'll they departed his land. That's gonna show. Ain't no doubt about that. That will be made known. I just want to know what the hell is supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. That's it. Oh yeah, they got him up there. This dude pretty cool too. I've been watching him for a while too. Pastor Stephen Darby. Yeah. I was watching a lot of his videos for a while. You can like close now. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right, so while that's doing that, I'm gonna go back into this because I'm like fresh out of talking at the moment. This was why I put some, the links up there because I'm not to be talking this whole time. Because I can go for hours, but I don't feel like doing all that right now. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm gonna play some music. Wouldn't be right if I didn't do it. This, after all, this is Wave Radio Productions.
Baš kad tu pričam par. Açtınız imundaki kaç. Nater tatsen. Tira krim kushina. siya nipagtitukol. Isa soltan tukta nilebo kang lobo. Después mo. Has jambas ola huki si kikaje. Bakas tenta tuklak mak tubetahi. Después mo. Litiu paño mayik alwiniki. Titulakal. Leta hayik al nohlumo. Yan yok kabilo. Bale minaan akmo tanoti. Perfectune. Kuchay ka otili tuklak nalilog talukan. Yetelin yuktantik netaha. Talokan meglai. Hajmukan chahan kahan. Mahesh tache. Leka ho jajo kabilo. Janubate ko Wakanda. Wakanda tune janukati kag anti. Oksak oti.
I don't know about all that.
Football nightclub in Tehran, right? Can you believe I agreed to this?
You simply need to get Shooty's Kamoyo beats within 2 meters of the laptop for 60 seconds, Everett. We'll handle the rest.
The team's been working to crack the thumb drive overnight.
Oh, good. Just about there.
Come on. Here you go.
Thanks, Miss Davidson.
Please call me Debbie.
Oh, Debbie, thank you. The information on this thumb drive may well be key in finding Spymaster. Having Harmon Taylor loose on US soil is bad for both our countries.
Is it true that he has never been caught?
Not yet. No, excuse me. So, what are you doing here, sport?
It's classified, sir.
Your position is very good, Everett. Our team is interfacing.
Encryption on this looks a bit tasty. Do you think we'll manage to crack it? I'm sorry, why are you here?
And so close?
Well, just mildly curious, that's all. I want to see how it's done on this side of the pond.
Mr.
Just talk. What's your name?
30 seconds more.
Steve. Steve, that'll be 2 seconds.
Well, you should be going. The team has a lot on their plate.
But straight up, it'll probably take me a couple more days. Whoever designed this rig is...
I must insist, Mr. Reston. This area is not typically for foreign agents.
Apologies. Okay, thank you.
You moved too soon. No need to be impatient.
Right. No, I'm sorry. I must just ask, how do you all work with this noise going on in here? Surely your superiors can find a way to dampen the sound of the servers in here.
It's not the servers. They still haven't fixed the toilet upstairs.
We put in 3 facilities requests this week.
The toilet upstairs. Good. The Kamoya beads will transmit through concrete, right?
Of course.
Well, apologies for this.
Did I just hear a toilet flush?
Now, the steel pipes should amplify the signal from the beads.
Interfacing for a second time.
There you go.
It's finished. And the laptop itself?
Well, now it's useless. I'll give it back to the CIA. Should have it by tomorrow.
Thank you, Everett.
Well, you better retrieve the beads. I gotta go haul a British spy out of my trunk.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel released a bunch of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever deleted scenes. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references here, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Because Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is coming out so soon, we're doing a giveaway for IMAX tickets. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and post your favorite moment from Wakanda Forever on the video. Careful for spoilers from the movie if you haven't seen it yet, but in this scene, Everett Ross is pulling a Sherlock, doing some detective work. They did say it was inspired a little bit by his series, Sherlock, infiltrating the NSA to use Shuri's Komodo beads, which he stole from the crime scene earlier, so they can hack the NSA's systems and Riri Williams' laptop and get all the information that they had on Namor City, Talocan, the MCU version of Atlantis, basically, and so they can wipe Riri Williams' laptop and prevent anyone from stealing her designs and tech from it. hoping that the NSA would then give the laptop back to the CIA because it was worthless, where Everett Ross could yoink it back for them properly because he currently worked for the CIA, at least until the end of the movie when Val had him arrested. One of the other big surprises of the movie, too, is that within the CIA, they also revealed that Val had been his ex-wife. But the idea is that since the events of Falcon and Winter Soldier, she'd become much more powerful within the CIA, within the government just in general. We'll get to that in a second, because that's part of like a bigger play. Like, she was always part of the film they wrote in. It wasn't like some cameo they added at the last minute. It's meant to set up a bunch of stuff that's happening throughout the rest of Marvel Phase 5. It'll also tie in a little bit with what's happening during the Secret Invasion series in the Evil Scrolls. The reason the NSA had Riri Williams' laptop was because of their fight and escape earlier in the movie. The authorities had raided her workshop and just taken everything into custody. At this point, Shuri had already been taken by Atuma Namorita to Talocan to meet with Namor, and Everett Ross was able to yoink her Kimoyo beads from the crime scene, even though Val revealed that she knew the whole time and was just kind of tailing him to find out more information.
The beads, I had them bugged before you ever even got there. Every conversation you've had, may she rest in peace. But it's good. Well, for us.
Because at the point that Shuri is taken, the Wakandans didn't have any information on Talocan or Namor. They didn't really know anything about them. There were some loose legends and some rumors, but that was about it, even though the Wakandans are meant to be very advanced. So they were just trying to get as much information on them before they sent Nakia on the rescue mission. They said the whole Everett Ross scene here is meant to be an homage to Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock characters. If you didn't watch that series, I did videos for all the episodes years ago. It was great. You can still find those videos by just typing in Emergency Awesome Sherlock in the search bar. Before he became Marvel's Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch was mostly known as Sherlock. That was the thing that really blew him up in pop culture. Same thing with Martin Freeman. He played a version of Watson on that.
Bit of trouble too, I bet. Of course, yes. Enough for a lifetime, far too much. I want to see some more. Oh, God, yes.
The thing is, they never actually had a scene together. Like, Doctor Strange has never had a reason to have a scene with Everett Ross, so like they never had a reunion in the MCU yet. Not really expecting that soon, like Avengers 5 or Avengers 6 Secret Wars. Don't really expect too much Everett Ross going on in those. And in the scene, while he's trying to infiltrate the NSA, he's pretending to be a character called Clive Reston, like that's the fake name he's using, but that's an actual Marvel character inside the comics. That's the foreign agent that he knocked out at the beginning of the clip, like he knocked out the Clive Reston character and stuck him in his trunk. He was originally written to be James Bond's son within the Marvel Universe, but because of licensing issues when he was introduced, like many, many years ago, they couldn't use the James Bond name outright. But that's why in this scene, he's using his British accent, pretending to be a foreign agent from the UK, because in the MCU, like in the real context, Everett Ross is supposed to be from the United States, even though Martin Freeman in real life is British. Also, when he talks to the other female NSA agent about trying to capture Spy Master in Harmon Taylor, those are two different old-school Iron Man characters from the 60s and 70s. They're relatively minor characters. The reason they blurred the laptop out is because of a weird licensing issue, if you can believe it. I know it makes it seem like there's some cool secret behind Riri Williams' Ironheart laptop here. It does have some Iron Man-inspired designs on it, but they didn't blur it because it was hiding some huge Iron Man secret that spoils the plot of the Ironheart series, which is happening later this year. They actually blurred it because it's got stickers and designs, logos from other brands and music artists that Disney and Marvel didn't have the rights to. And when they do stuff like that, they put popular logos of other companies or brands that they don't have the rights to in their movies and shows. They either have to pay the other brands to use it, or more likely, they just go through a bunch of paperwork and trouble with the legal departments of both companies. It's a huge nightmare. So it's a big hassle, and you don't really earn extra money because of it or anything like that. And because they deleted this scene, it wasn't in the actual movie, they didn't need to go through all the legwork of getting all that paperwork done. But because they wanted to release the footage as a deleted scene, their only two options are to do the mountain of paperwork after the fact, or they just blur this in the scene, which is a vastly quicker, cheaper, easier option. probably seen that in other TV shows and movies where like someone will do an interview, but they'll blur the t-shirt out. It's because of the logo. It's all because of a licensing, a rights issue. When he figures out the toilet pipes above the room are an option, he flushes Shuri's Komodo beads down so they're close enough to the area for the Wakandans to get the data they need from them and erase the rest of the data on Riri Williams' laptop so the NSA and the CIA can't steal it. Presumably after this, they just had somebody pretend to be a janitor and go in and fix the pipes and steal the beads back that way. But the whole idea is they wanted to render the laptop inert so the NSA couldn't steal anything from it and they would give it back to the CIA because it was worthless, where Everett Ross could steal it back because he worked for the CIA. For a point, to like the end of the movie, the next place Everett Ross will appear is during the Secret Invasion episodes, which are supposed to release around April or May. They haven't given an exact release date yet, but there will be a little bit of overlap probably with the Mandalorian Season 3 episodes, or it'll start like right after the Mandalorian is done. I think the Marvel and Star Wars people decided to stagger their series a little bit more so they didn't cannibalize each other's audiences like they did last year a little bit. If you don't remember last year, there was actually an issue where a couple big Star Wars series premiered on the exact same day as big Marvel series. Surprise, surprise, Disney figured out there are 7 days in a week and they didn't have to put everything on the exact same day. They'll probably continue doing that where they just stagger series a little bit so they don't overlap quite as much. But at the end of the movie, Okoye used her new Midnight Angels armor, which she'll continue to use in future series. Like there's an Okoye Disney Plus series that they're developing for her character to help Everett Ross escape. So he's a fugitive now going forward into Marvel Phase 5, but he'll be helping Nick Fury and Talos solve the plot behind the evil faction of Skrulls trying to take over the world by replacing the government leaders. They're not doing an exact copy of Secret Invasion from the comics. Like you're not going to see versions of every single Avengers character who are secretly Skrulls. But like Rhodey seems like he plays a relatively big role. You see him in a couple really big scenes. So there will be some big crossover of characters as part of this big Skrull plot. And because it's the first big Marvel Phase 5 series, they're using it to set up this long-running Dark Reign-inspired plot, which is kind of the way things flowed in the comics. Like it went from Secret Invasion to Dark Reign in the comics, where basically Val and Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU will use that political paranoia, the infiltration aspect of it, to turn the United States, probably other countries too, into something more akin to police states cracking down hardcore. Like, we need to be careful or else the Skrulls will come get us. And out of that, they'll have a very Dark Reign-inspired vibe during Marvel Phase 5, which will culminate by Captain America 4 New World Order in the Thunderbolts movie, where Thunderbolt Ross is supposed to become the next president of the United States and the Red Hulk. And right now, Val is already the director of the CIA. So they're like riding that wave of popularity they get from getting rid of the Skrulls by taking credit for it and use that power to do all kinds of crazy stuff. I've already done a couple videos about the Thunderbolts movie too, because Val is supposed to be continuing the Weapons Plus program with Thunderbolt Ross's help. They recast Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. He's played presidents before, so it's not a big stretch for him. And she'll use the Weapons Plus program to create the Sentry, who did come from the Weapons Plus program in the comics. It was kind of an offshoot, but it was the same basic principle. And tasked the Thunderbolts with cleaning up her mess when the Sentry starts to go crazy. Because of the way he got his powers, he developed the Void personality, and the Void starts to take over. And he starts hearing quote-unquote voices in his head. So it'll be like having Homelander running rampant. But if you spotted any other Easter eggs or references in this deleted scene that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. And because Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is coming out really soon, my review should post in the next couple of weeks, as soon as they let us do that. Everyone click here for my new video on the DC trailer that they dropped for the new Superman movie, the new Batman movie, like all the new rebooted DC movies. And click here for my brand new Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next.
If you're someone who hasn't tried the game Street Fighter Duel, you've got to give it a go. This is the official Street Fighter RPG, where you can collect and upgrade a team of your favorite fighters to battle against powerful opponents.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios.
Hey.
So as many of you know,
I don't care. I want to go back to that other one that I just seen not too long ago. I feel like there's something in there that was needed to be seen.
Was another attack on one of our outreach facilities. Proof of the involvement of a member state is being uploaded to your mobile devices as we speak. And as for the identity of the attack, Je vous en prie. Let our gracious response to this incursion be an olive branch. Further attempts on our resources will be considered an act of aggression and met with a much steeper response. We mourn the loss of our king, but do not think for a second that Wakanda has lost her ability to protect our resources. We are aware of the ongoing efforts by some to find vibranium outside of Wakanda and wish the best of luck.
Now, okay. That goes into what we're talking about, what we've been talking about, the vibranium, this and the third. There's so much symbolism, there's so much code in there. That's why I wanted to do this video, because that's the whole purpose of World War III in the book of Revelation. That's the whole purpose of what they call the Battle of Amangog, the Battle of Armageddon, or Harmageddon, or the last KayodeRuachYhdhShalomeTodhaAluwaisoLLelE, Holy War. It is to go against the Al-Kebulan, all of the descendants of our ancestors, wherever we are, and the goal is to hunt us down and murder us, all of us. That's why they have the census and stuff like that, and all that type of stuff. So knowing that the vibranium wars and that mineral that they found in Al-Kebulan, and you know what I'm saying, in the Congos and stuff like that, where you see where they were showing the man using tools to, you know, to learn how to weld with it, you know, the cords that they attach to it to light up a light bulb, you know what I'm saying, and then to start a fire. Well, that just proves that you don't need the Babylon system anymore at all with that alone. That right there puts them in great fear. So of course they're going to go to war to try to excavate all of that. But then it also reveals the truth of, you know, well, maybe that's how pyramids were powered, you know, on top of the gold and the copper that was covering them and in them and stuff like that, because, you know, there's frequencies that deal with that. When you're dealing with microwave radiation frequency weapons and stuff like that, smart grid cities, the whole 5G thing, and the electric fencing and stuff like that, data hacking, processing of the DNA, CRISPR-Cas9 technologies, mutating the DNA, certain frequencies and artificials and synthetics and nanotechnology. Well, that right there puts a hole in the nanotechnology, because it's like it's a reverse electrocution process. It's like it's a realkalizing, alkalizing, and it burns their battery system out. And that's a problem for them, because the fact that people are looking and already working with, they already know people got their hands on it. From the gold rush in the Congos, you know what I'm saying, from what, 2-3 years ago, you know what I'm saying, to that alone, those two minerals alone, plus copper, which our people are known for being copper workers and stuff like that, gold, all that type of stuff like that. Those three minerals alone right there are very, very dangerous to them. On top of whatever you can purchase, you can buy and stuff like that. So they don't know. I'm not going to speak too much on that, but they don't, there's already people resisting the papacy. They're making whole videos out here of people burning the flags, American flags, and, you know what I'm saying, burning up the Bibles and stuff like that, calling out the Pope. And this was a woman that I seen doing this. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, let me do as I know how to do, because it's what I do. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go into the laws and stuff like that too. We're talking about the Housing Commission, the Urban Housing Renewal Act, the Black Lands Housing Act, and all this different type of stuff. That so many people do not realize. You know what I'm saying? When they're talking about, you know what I'm saying, America or how, whatever you want to call it, Turtle Island, Americana, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth, that people are not knowledgeable. The African American Heritage Trail of Mogul, You know what I'm saying? The Buffalo Soldier, African Town Cemetery, 2010, change. Old Plateau Cemetery, established 1876. What is this? 1959, Bay Ridge Road, 36610, African Town Plateau. I'm gonna go through these quickly, because you can pause the videos and go. The Development Trust and Land Act, formerly known as the Native Trust and Land Act of 1913. Native Land Act, Black Land Act, Act number 27 of Bantu Land Act of the Bantu Land Act. Low interest rates, yeah, hallelujah, to mechanize our farms, Colossians 2:14-16. Federal subsidies, the Rural Colored Areas Act of 1963. Woo! Yeah, hallelujah. That's affirmation and confirmation, baby. Woo! Told you. I told you. I have had, man, look, I'm not lying. The Group Areas Act of 1966, the Black Communities Development Act of 1984, June 30th, 1991. Many of these fraudulent acts were repealed and removed. Here's example of war quotes. Colossians 2:14-16 and empowering quotes. Luke 10:19, Ephesians 6:10-19, Philippians 4:13, Exodus 21-17, 20 verse 1-17. The abolition of the Racially Based Land Measures Act of 1991, the Census Act of 1790. We just literally said that. The Unbeneficiary Occupation of Farms Act of 1937, Yahweh. The Colored Persons Settlement Act of 1946, thank you, Yah, received. The Asiatic Land Tenure Act of 1946, Black Affairs Act of 1959, formerly known as the Native Affairs Act of 1959. We'll see the Unbeneficiary Occupation of Farms Act of 1937. Then you got to talk about the Trail of Tears. The Indian Removal Act of 1830, May 28th, and February 1830 and 1829 and March 29th. Since 1815 census category for race, mulatto, racial mixed or mixture, half black, half white. This goes into the mixed multitudes and stuff again. 1990, the blacks category, quadrant. 1861, Freedmen's Bank, March 3rd, 1865, Freedmen's Trust. And we'll be dealing with freedmen, people who are free. And then you got indentured servitudes and chattel slavery, which is what the transatlantic slave trade is about, and more. 1913 aimed at the regulating the acquisition of land, the Land Act of the Bantu Native Black people, and purchase and leasing of land by natives. And this again goes into the inquisitions and acquisitions of the Spaniards of Rome, Roman Spaniards, the federal subsidies, the Rural Colored Areas Act of 1963. I think I did that already. So, General Law Act of 1963, Act to amend the Magistrates and Courts Act of 1944, Supreme Court 1776, the Suppression of Communism Act of 1950, the Post Office Act of 1958, and the Unlawful Organizations Act of 1960. So these quasi corporations, which are literally an unlawful organizations act, and then going again to Colossians 2:14-16, having blotted out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us. You know what I'm saying? But Jesus ain't got shit to do with this. You know what I'm saying? They try to put that out in place as if they could just take over and do whatever they want to do, when literally, you know, in all reality, that's an open declaration against them. You know what I'm saying? That whole we the people type of stuff is about them. It's not about us. Never was about us. That's why I don't vote. You know what I'm saying? When they talk about in favor of the people, if they talk about them, when they talk about human rights, they're talking about they're talking about them. They're not talking about it. That's why the Department of Human Services, Humane Services. You know what I'm saying? they're not human. They're not, meaning they're humans, but they're not mankind. And I'm saying that like that specifically in both those ways, because it's deep. It's deep. It's really deep. Man, bro. Uh, 1619 to 1612, the record of the Virginia Company of London. That's an incorporation. Virginia statutes and laws. The copper genocide, paper genocide, systems by design, geoengineering, environmental racism. The court book of 1619 and 1612. Darwinism, social engineering experiment, Planned Parenthood, eugenics, population control, and so on and so forth. Climate change, which is another word for annihilation and murder and genocide. African, Ethiopia, Europe are one and the same atlas as in his mountains. So when we're talking about people that come from the Caucasus, the Mongols, the mutants, the Ashkenaz, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not dealing with mankind. We're dealing with mutants. We're dealing with hybrids. We're dealing with monsters. Nephilim, 1920 giants, 19 Raphaim. You know what I'm saying? Guaymirid, Gibborim, 1921 Holocaust, Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? It's where you got the Black Wall Street and stuff like that, because of course they have xenophobia. So it's like we have become strangers in our own lands. American Colonization Society, traders shipping indigenous peoples to the coast of South Africa, and so on and so forth. In 1963 and 62-67, civil rights, race riots, nation will rise against nation, King George III, 1763 proclamation, Hindustan, India, Turtle Island, America, so on and so forth. So this is where they're getting, be careful, entertain strangers. Hebrews 13 and 2, strangers in your own land, Leviticus 19 and 34, foreigners in a strange land, Deuteronomy 28:43, and etymology 1884 of agoraphobia. A fear of places and situations that might cause panic, helplessness, or embarrassment, and anxiety disorder from panic attacks. So xenophobia, xenophobia, xenia, guest friendship, Greek mythology, hospitality, the fear of strangers and foreigners or anything strange. Learn not the way of the heathen, Jeremiah 10, 2-4, and 9 and 10 and 2 of the book of Psalm, 91 and 119, and 87 and 84, 23, 83, and so on and so forth. 2008 South African xenophobia, 1800 wars against foreigners. And that's going again to the whole Wakanda Forever thing and what we just talked about, because this is what's raising up. You know what I'm saying? There's South Africa and West Africa and diversely different people. They're turning away from the papacy, and that's a problem to the papacy. That's a problem, because it's not only happening there. Whatever happens in Al-Qiblan is happening here, because our people are one and the same. You got man, it's so much in here, bro. Process of natural selection. Charles Darwin, Science of Anthropology. European, as in Africa, and the curiosity where the Europeans' origins is. Manipulative indoctrination. Melville John Erskovix. Reversing historical records. 1500 Spaniards and ships, and Deuteronomy 28:68 through Hebrew Union College, French Boaz, Minden 1887 in Germany, Minden, Germany 1887 through 1899, December 21 to 1942. Noah Webster's 1828 American definition: a native of America is originally applied to the aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Geechee, Cherokee, so it's Gula Geechee, Cherokee, Creole, Black Hawk, Bantu Igbo, Ashanti Simole, a 1942 book, The Myth of the Negro Past, United States Census of 1790, August 2, 1830 Census, Population Records, Climate Change, Population Control, Racial Integrity, 1928, Act, Eugenics Expansion, World Maps, Lies, Francis Goldstein, Booker T. Washington's W.E.D. Du Bois, Social Economics Encyclopedia of Africa, Eugenics Expansion, World Map, Lies, to reflect imperialism, to European traditional Mercator world, the cattle complex in East Africa, 1926. Black genetic inferiority is where the world map today is derived from, 1569. Jewish Holocaust, 19. So even the Jewish Holocaust, where you're talking about two different peoples, and even in the blend, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to do this. Let's see if they have that. Okay. So when people asking, where's all the ships? Yeah, you gotta know how these people build too. Think about the catacombs of Rome. The catacombs are underneath the Roman Vatican City, right? So what makes you think that they wouldn't build cities over them too? Just saying. This is not a game, bro. This is real life out here. And all them people that not doing their due diligence, they built it on their fault lines. You know what I'm saying? I wonder that why they wouldn't have any active cemeteries, because the cemetery is underneath them. But you can go look deeper into that on your own time too, because like I said, I do my due diligence. You know what I'm saying? But there's things that you have to go into it for yourself and look for yourself and really see for what it is, because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks, man, because it's out here, but many people don't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna teach this stuff. All these so-called professors and you know what I'm saying, and historians and all that type of stuff, but they don't want to talk about that though. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. That many will not acknowledge. This is what it is. But they know what they doing out here, man. They know what they doing. They know who they are. They know who you are. Why you don't know who you are? You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna tell the truth. Let's tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I'm saying augmentation and transforming and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This type of stuff. Plastic surgery and stuff like that. Like the CIA make different stuff, masks and all kind of fake flesh. You can look up the videos that they have of creating monsters and stuff like that. dealing with like for movies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just all types of different stuff. Like look at how they make movies and different stuff like that. It's a form of plastic surgery. Why older British women seeking young Gambian men? This they don't even know that they inherited that gene from their ancestors. You know what I'm saying? To go in and do that type of stuff. Like all black people ain't y'all people. Long story short, that's just what it is. That's the truth. All black people or brown people are not y'all's people. Even the Most High say that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a problem when people be like, oh, you know, all black people are children of Israel. That's not true. All black people know that. Of those who do. The ones who work, you know what I'm saying, on making sure that we didn't know who he was or our identity or any of that stuff. Oh, they know. They know. Those tribes was black people's. And some. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is. You wonder why so many cities and stuff are supercharged, you know what I'm saying, with demonic energy and stuff like that, and rituals, incantations and stuff like that, necromancy, the stuff that goes on the crap that's influenced through the frequencies of music and entertainment and stuff like that, and drugs and poisoning and rape and robbery and child trafficking and human trafficking. The system is a human trafficking system. The pedophiles and all that stuff, they do all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like regular businesses, all these brand logo symbologies and stuff like that. Come on, man.